Hello and welcome back to Rogue Trader. So, last time we made it to this command center and have found that there may be information on Kunrad held in this cogitator, which should be pretty good. However, we also found that we may need to go back out into the world in order to, complete this planet, which means that we've got a while till we can potentially repair some of these. Now, this guy right here made it sound like we could go somewhere else while we wait for the rebellion to be quelled, which was interesting to me because I was like, huh, but aren't we stranded here? Well, we're not stranded here if we can get rid of the ancient aircraft guns. And I was like, oh, so those must be the underground bits that we never went to, right? Because that's the only place we haven't been. No, we actually did a fight next to some aircraft guns, or some anti-aircraft guns, which we spent quite a lot of time on, because that was where Argenta had her solo fight. So, what's interesting about that is that probably means we missed something in that area which disables the guns. I thought we'd spent a long time there, but maybe I missed something. Maybe there's something we can do, or maybe there's something we can do now that we know, or maybe because the warehouse is underneath that, disabling the warehouse is what we need to do. But we'll see, Anyway, before we do any of that, let's see what this has to say. The cogitator looks a lot older and more worn than the ones next to it. However, it has evidently been well cared for. Numerous parts have been replaced, not a single key is jammed, and fresh seals with prayers to the Omnissiah adorn its surface. One of the side panels has been removed. Bundles of gold-notched cables run from inside to a small data crypt that was connected only a short while ago. The screen reads, awaiting access code. Let's force access to the cogitator. It's tech use 25, which I think is a 100% chance for us. Yes. You have bypassed the security layers. The cogitator is ready to reveal its secrets. Go to Sacred Computation 782-5-M. Upon Logius Abel's orders, the archives of every augur station on Rykad Minoris and the two primary satellites of Rykad stars have been queried. Said satellites are named Magos Maruf and Zafire the Keen, after the two great champions of faith, whose external cogitators were placed inside the satellites' cores after their shells perished. The purpose of the sacred computation requested by the Logius is to uncover the external influence behind the ongoing insurgency. Computation result: positive. Multiple instances of interference and malfunction detected, suggesting that the ships moving across the system deliberately blinded the sacred augur's eyes. The first of these ships is thought to have arrived 2 Rykad Minoris cycles ago, early in the winter. The most recent one arrived a month ago. Logius Avel's conclusion: the insurrection on the planet has been long in the making, with the participation of external actors. It is alleged that 2 cycles ago, Aurora arrived in the Rykad system, the rumoured unholy prophet of the insurgents. The subsequent ship movements can be attributed to weapon deliveries, but what is the nature of their activity near Rykadi Philia? Governor Medina's attention must be drawn to. The final entry cuts off abruptly. Okay. Recent observations? The satellite Magos Maruf reports that a ship's signal has been broadcast through the system. Its signature is consistent with the records of the flagship of the Rogue Trader dynasty, or of a Rogue Trader dynasty, House von Valancius. The satellite Zafira the Keen reports that a ship drifting nearby is hurriedly sped away. The ship had sent an encrypted Vox transmission to the insurgent-controlled areas of the surface of Rykad Minoris. Another transmission was directed to planetoid Rykadi Philia. Both transmissions were signed Brother Twilight. Their contents could not be decrypted. To be investigated? The entry contains planetside coordinates marked as heavy augur station jamming, possibly a hidden insurgent base. Interesting. Okay, so we actually didn't learn a whole lot more there, but interesting. Did any of those go into rumors, maybe? No. Okay. Right. Let's leave and let's go back to where we've been before and have a look and just figure out whether we have already completed the conditions that will allow us to, at the very least, get back to our ship. Because the moment we can get back to our ship, we can heal. And the moment that we can heal, ho ho ho, things get a lot easier. Now, you might be like, how much easier will they get? Well, let's just think about a level up, right? A typical level up for Abelard, right? Where are we? Archetypes. So last level up he got 2 movement points. That's us. Okay, Abelard. There we go. So last level up he got a skill increase for athletics of 10, and he got a talent which gave him 1 damage deflection, right? So this skill level up of 10 was in athletics, right? So this injury he's got is -20. This is giving him -20 to that skill as well, right? Because he's got -20 strength. So effectively, it's double as good as that for just the strength level up, right? So we're talking about multiple levels worth of damage to our characters here. Like, we're effectively walking around with maybe sub-level 1 characters, which is not really ideal. So yeah, if we can heal, then things become a lot easier because we become level 8 characters, which is what we should be all along. So, yeah. I think it's probably going to be helpful if we could just, heal. But we'll see. We'll see. Right. Loads up.
Rise to the top or get left.
See, this
in
is
the
the
dust.
gun, right? So how do we disable it? We do anything here? Aha! I don't know if this was an option previously, but sure. The anti-aircraft battery's control panel has a panoply of mysterious levers and buttons. Deactivating it quickly is not an option. All you can do is blow it up, destroying it completely. I can examine it though. The anti-aircraft battery certainly was constructed a long time ago, long before the colonization of this world began. It comes as no surprise that the insurgents were barely able to operate it. Modern arms protocols are incomprehensible to the machine spirits of such an ancient construction. Destroy the anti-aircraft battery. Aha! The blast consumes the ancient weapon. The sky above the city is safe for flying again. Huge, absolutely huge for us, because now we can leave. Okay. The ruined weapon radiates intense heat and an oily puddle giving off caustic stench spreads across the pavement. So now we can leave and then come back, and that I think will be incredibly helpful. Yeah. We don't really want to be here. I was going to have more to the sentence, but we really don't want to be here. The game actually even tells us where we could go. It says go to Rykad. It effectively said go to Rykad. I forget the name. The prison one, right? Because I think it was Philia or something like that. So if we go to that one, then we are going to have an easier time. We were told it's like, it was something like it's sport, it's a hobby, it's not a real rebellion. I think that would be a good place to go if we want XP. But I do want to immediately come back and try the warehouse just with a powered up squad. But we'll see. Right.
Keep your wits about
also, if it fails the warehouse or something like that, I do want to just do it immediately, but we'll see. Right, let's save and then speak to him. The anti-aircraft battery that was giving you so much trouble has been destroyed. That's excellent news. Thank you for your assistance. The weapon the insurgents were using to shoot down shuttles over the city has been destroyed. Now, nothing is preventing you from returning to your ship. If you wish to find Master von Kalox, you should go to the Cenobium of the Adaptus Mechanicus. Notes of anxiety creep into the voice that rattles from Pascal's vox. On behalf of the priesthood of Mars, I, Magos Hanuman, am officially initiating my participation in the operation. Must inspect the state of the relic and ensure myself that it is under zero risk of falling into heretical hands. According to the Catechism of Maintenance and Operation, my tech comrades were supposed to lock the monastery gates against lay people and activate the traps. I deem it optimal that an ordained Magos should provide his assistance. I categorically object. The governor clenches his fist. As much as I respect the sanctity of your monastery, I have on my hands a whole capital that needs to be attended by the Omnissiah's servants. We've lost many eminent tech priests. Incidentally, one of them perished in that same monastery. Mechanical failures could occur at any moment. Putting it bluntly, you may consider yourself forcibly recruited into the city's defense forces. Medina and Pascal glare at each other, their unyielding gazes like crossed swords. You've picked an interesting time to quarrel with a servant of the Omnissiah, Governor. A critical situation calls for decisive action. I simply cannot let every learned tech priest go to their death the moment they hear about an endangered relic. I need people who can do more than praise the Omnissiah to look after the capital and its millions of citizens. This Magos is part of my retinue. You have no right to give him orders. You mistake me for a fool. I know he arrived separately from you, and I would bet my life that no. The governor's voice dies down into the low growl of a drilling mechadendrite. Its tip is directed straight at the bridge of his nose. Medina clears his throat and grumbles stubbornly. So this is the negotiation technique you have resorted to. Do you think this is the first time I've been threatened with a weapon? No, but this could be your last. Pascal's voice is akin to the sound produced by his drilling implement, steady and calm, but ready to explode at a moment's notice with the crunching of bone and squelching of tearing flesh. I am heading to the monastery because I must. Is that clear? The governor mutters through gritted teeth. Abundantly so. Magos. Why are you so determined to get to the monastery? Is it because of the relic? It is why I came to this world. I am expected there. It would be my pleasure to assist the Omnissiah's servant in reaching the sanctum. Thank you for your cooperation, your lordship. The drill stops. As compensation for your consideration of my request, I, Magos Hanuman, officially undertake to accompany you in the Rykad system, in the role of bodyguard, and to protect you at all costs until your life functions cease, but only within the limits of the Rykad system. You're Hanuman. Glad you're alive. The governor raises his eyebrow and stares at the tech priest in surprise, but refrains from further commentary. What has perplexed you about my companion's name? The governor looks at Pascal with curiosity. According to the reports we've received, Logis Abel Hanuman set off for the hallowed electrodynamic cenobium a short while before it was stormed. I'm glad to find out that you're safe. Perhaps you possess information on Master Van Kolox. Pascal's vox rasps in confusion. My name is Pascal Hanuman, not Abel. I know nothing about such a person. It's an odd coincidence. What do you know about this Abel, Governor? I've never met him in person. That esteemed Logis supervised the work of Rykad Minoris's Lex Mechanics for years. However, he rarely left his cyber chapel, and I have never had the honor of meeting his acquaintance, a true anchorite. Why did he fly to the monastery? That seems suspicious. When a Logis of the Adapters Mechanicus wants to go somewhere, we don't ask why, your lordship. Well, I mean, Pascal just wanted to go somewhere and you just said no. Anyway, where can I get more information on this individual? I would have suggested you inspect the esteemed Logis' sanctum, but it was destroyed by rebels. We recovered several data crypts and connected them to the cogitators at the command point. They may provide you with some information. It's amazing that a mechanical voice from a Vox can sound so confused. That name might have been used to signal intelligible only That name might have been used as a signal intelligible only to its intended recipient. In that case, its bearer might be Archmagos Amarnat, initiating an investigation and data collection procedure. Adira tenses up and listens, then turns around sharply to face Pascal. I can hear my friend's snide whispers through the door. Be careful on your search, Magos. If you stare into a shattered mirror for too long, you might see yourself in it, in every shard at once. Mending it is much more of a tainted affair than the new reflection is deathlike. Okay, I see. Glad to be of service, your lordship. I feel like we missed some questions there, but that's okay. Tech Priest Quartz Cram claims you have not been doing enough to ensure the safety of the Adeptus Mechanicus monastery. With a heavy sigh, the governor wearily covers his face with his hand. Of course he does. That Tech Priest is very insistent. I ordered a squad to be dispatched to the Holy Cenobium of the Adeptus Mechanicus. They haven't been heard from yet. I'm afraid this is all I can do under the present circumstances. I don't have a single soldier to spare here in the capital. Okay. Cool. Did they suggest that there could be more info here?
Left in the dust.
I don't think so. Oh no, there we go. Go to Logis's private archive results of Logis Abel's data trans. I cannot see the secret design, but I can sense it shackled in stasis. The minds of the initiated are slumbering in the neural harness of their vows. I'm registering an impulse of change. I surmise a potential influence on the stasis of the secret design. There came a time when the spiral was turned into a circle, but that cycle can be discontinued. The revelation granted by the Omnissiah to Logis Abel in the course of his data meditation has been recorded verbatim. Logis Abel is seeking an audience with the venerable Dar Impulse 6 who may assist in interpreting the revelation. A request has been sent to the governor's palace for a shuttle flight to the electrodynamic Cenobium. A message has also been sent to the Furibunda system. The cycle can be continued. I recognize the words. The voice from the Vox is soft and pensive, barely audible over the static noise. I believe I know the intended recipient of the message in the Furibunda system. It was me. Omnissiah, grant me the wisdom to fathom this mystery. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess we're gonna leave and go back to the ship. Am I able to just go to the ship? Or do I have to, like, go to a place and then go to the ship? I think I have to, like, go to a place, then go to the ship. I was trying to see if there's, like, a... Now that you've enabled now that you've, got this, you can fast travel. I don't believe that's the case. We would have been given a tutorial about it, surely. Ah, no, there we go. Aha. I think I might have played too many Owlcat games. Return to the void ship. I'm like, yeah, there should be something like that around here somewhere. And would you look at that, there is. Okay. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Over the past few days, I've received several messages from different decks complaining about the anomalous behaviors in the ship's cogitators and servitors. The machine spirits are restless and rebellious, and no tech litany or ritual or pacification can rid them of this obstinacy. The tech priests can deal with the vessel systems, but the servitors... They make errors in their tasks, disobey orders, change the assigned rituals, or sometimes downright freeze as if in a trance. A click comes through the Vox channel, followed by a weary sigh. Lord Captain, occurrences such as these are caused by errors in the cogitator calculations, or have some other sensible explanation. I beseech you not to take after those who whisper about the ship being cursed or possessed. Idira joins the channel and chimes in playfully. Oh, don't start, old man. All these peculiar happenings have long since turned into local legends. A door slams shut, a lumen starts flickering. Folk have grown used to all that, so a resident ghost has decided to up the ante. I'm telling you, things are only going to get worse from here. The technomats inspected the servitors and concluded they pose no danger. According to the servants of the Omnissiah, such behavior is caused either by the echoes of minds not completely eliminated, or by the manifestations of the machine spirit's will. Nevertheless, the faulty servitors make the crew's task considerably more difficult, and High Factotum Janus Danrock would like to discuss how he should deal with the defective property. He's waiting your audience on the bridge. Okay. I would like to go to the bridge. How do I do that? Do I... okay. Let's do a save to start with. How do I leave? Escape? Click here? No? Click here. Okay, I want to be honest. I have no idea how I leave. Oh, is it here? Back to bridge. Okay. They never gave me a tutorial on how I left that screen. So, okay. Just had to guess until we got that done. Okay. Cool. So now we're gonna load up the bridge, and I guess we're gonna speak to Janice first, and then hopefully heal. Although, what I'd really like is if it also healed you. It also heals you. Oh, isn't that good? Right, do I go up to... Where do I speak to this guy? Okay, so he should be over here somewhere. I can also speak to Pascal here as well, which is interesting. Hello. The corpulent man in lavish clothes bows before you, not without difficulty. A servo skull whirs over his shoulder, where the fingers of his augmented hand drum against the sheaf of papers he is holding, and he regards you with attentive interest through the lens of his magnifying implant. Greetings, your lordship. Janice Danrock at your service. Okay. Vigidus informed me about a problem with the servitors. What happened? You see, your lordship, the ship's servitors have been malfunctioning of late. They violate protocols, interrupt their tasks, observe crew members for long periods of time, and move erratically with no meaning or purpose. Janice Danrock nervously pulls on his luxurious frock coat as if it were uncomfortably tight. Had it been a routine technical fault, I would have decided the fate of these servitors myself, but I deemed it necessary to notify you. I do not wish to hide such irregularities from the Lord Captain. If you wish to observe the servitors' unusual behavior before you decide their fate, this can be arranged. The majority of the defective units have been delivered to one of the storage compartments, pending your decision. Pascal Hanuman expressed a desire to be present during the inspection, should it be carried out. I suppose the expertise of the esteemed Magos may come in handy. Okay. I wish to take a look at these servitors before deciding their fate. As you wish, your lordship. Would you like the Engine Seer Prime to accompany you? Is he my Engine Seer Prime? Okay, I guess so. Sure, he will come with me, but I didn't know we'd given him that title yet, but okay. As in, I didn't know we were giving him the title, but I guess it makes sense. As your lordship commands. Ooh, okay. This is cool. When his lordship arrived at the sea... Oh, wait, we've got some more stuff up here. Sector unavailable, region unavailable, location Von Valancia's flagship lower decks, material, report of a tech phenomenon that was observed during Lord Captain's visit to Bay AKN 108 from the words of High Factorum Janice Danrock. When his lordship arrived at the scene, he found the servitors in the same position they had assumed after they had been corralled into the bay, all standing in a long spiralling line and facing the centre of their strange formation. The moment his lordship crossed the threshold of the bay gate, their bodies jerked into motion. All as one, as if obeying a command, the servitors turned to face the Lord Captain. The technomats tasked with overseeing the defective units even reached for their weapons, but then the servitors just went still, just as abruptly, staring at his lordship with vacant eyes. Okay. There we go. All present held their breath, disturbed by this sight. We waited for the Lord Captain to speak. His lordship Malachi von Valancius demanded a report on the defective unit status from the technomats. The technomat's long-winded and detailed report could have been summarized in a single key point. Despite the servitors' abnormal behavior, they were still quite capable of carrying out tasks, and therefore the circumstances did not call for their termination. Okay. I gestured for his Engine Seer Prime to study the servitors. The Engine Seer Prime slowly waded into the motionless ranks of the servitors, peering into their faces and checking the readings. There was no haste in Pascal's actions. With the mesmerizing diligence, he inspected every single unit in his path, and binaric prayers were his companions in this investigation. The examination confirmed the Technomat's initial hypothesis. The servitors' souls, or rather the souls of the people they once were, had awakened. Not yet fully conscious of their past and present, these half-machines could nonetheless feel primitive emotions and sensations such as fear and pain. This undesirable consequence of shoddily performed lobotomy is most rarely observed, yet for some unknown reason it had occurred in every single one of the servitors gathered in the bay. Okay. I'm going to order that one of the servitors be disassembled and its components investigated. A group of technomats hurried to act upon the Lord Captain's command. The servitor's mechanical parts separated with clicks, snaps, and hisses. The sutures between its wrinkled pale flesh and its augments were laid disgustingly bare. We watched the technomats do their work and could see every centimetre of the servitor's stiff muscles abounding with valves and cavities pierced by the countless cords and tubes. The disassembly and analysis complete, the technomats concurred the unit was in working order. Nothing in the dissected body that lay before us could provide any insight into the reason behind the defects. I should make note of one more thing. At that moment, all of us present discovered that it was not just the eyes, but the heads, and the heads of some of the servitors were now shaking too. It was as if the mechanized servants were overcome with some primordial terror. Alright, I took several steps towards the servitors. Immediately the servitors, each and every one of them, stepped towards the Lord Captain in perfect unison. They mimicked his movements with frightening precision. The rogue trader halted in place and, after a moment's thought, waved his hand, and the servitors, just as synchronously, repeated the gesture as well. When the Lord Captain turned quizzically to the technomats, so did the servitors, as if mocking him. Whatever the Lord Captain did, be it an incline of the head, a wave of the hand, or a step to the side, the defective units repeated it without a moment's delay or hesitation, like grotesque marionettes controlled by an unseen puppeteer. We observed this mime unfold in distressed bafflement for nearly a minute until the servitors finally came to a stop. Not sensing any threat from them, the Lord Captain approached with confidence. The Lord Captain examined the servitors. As High Factorum, it was me who... is it Factorum? No, it's Factotum. As High Factotum, it was I who had prompted that entire inspection, and thus it was my duty to follow the Lord Captain. As we stepped closer, we noticed a fascinating irregularity. The servitor's pupils, normally still, were shaking wildly. That must be what it was referring to earlier. We just did things out of order, so it was like, okay, let's talk about shaking. Okay, that's interesting. Anyway, their bulging veins were pulsating under their copper collars inscribed with their past offences. It was as if those mindless half-machines were locked in a perpetual state of extreme tension. A visibly shaken technomat behind us proposed that the human souls had awakened within the servitor's body after a long slumber deep within their lobotomized brains. Formerly bereft of intelligence, they had attained awareness, feeling, and understanding. After a pause, the technomat added that the servitors used to function properly, that no one had been able to explain the change in their behaviour. His gaze still trained on the motionless but half-animated half-machines and half-people, the Lord Captain stepped away from the servitors. Okay. And turned to me to announce his decision. His lordship looked to me with unwavering resolve, and it was that confidence that wrenched me out of the nightmarish stupor that had me tensely observing the scene unfolding before me. The Lord Captain gave the order, okay, to dispose of the servitors, so the human soul may be released from torment, so that's iconoclast. To send the servitors back to toil as they had toiled before, for they had not yet paid their dues for the crimes of their past lives, thus did not deserve clemency. To destroy the servitors, for what was happening to them could spell horrific heresy, or to leave the servitors to their work, for there was nothing in their behaviour that the Lord Captain found alarming. Interesting. I feel like we want to destroy them. And I guess we want to do the iconoclast one if we have to choose, right? But yeah, I think they have to be gone because, well, they're just in a state of, like, semi-consciousness, but they're also, like, half man, half machine, like, meant to do menial labor. It's kind of weird. I think we'll just destroy them. The Lord Captain's command was executed post-haste. All defective units were incinerated in furnaces, and their remains were expelled into the void. The crew was provided with replacement servitors and soon forgot all about the destroyed unit's peculiarities, yet this incident haunts my memories to this day. With the fate of the defective servitors decided, nothing could now distract the Lord Captain from his mission. Cool. Okay. Nice little side story. Also, we didn't speak to you previously. Have you ever heard the name Fiery Reckoning? From what I can tell, it is a voidship of some sort. Janice thinks for a moment, pursing his lips in concentration. I am afraid it is not immediately familiar to me, your lordship. Please allow me a moment. He starts rapidly tapping on the screen of his data slate. I say, House von Valancius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transactions, records of the ship picking up cargo from Kiava Gamma. Well, this is odd. The data log ends there. Apparently the ship had some interactions with one of the workshops on your industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but that is the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regards to this particular matter. Okay. Let's see what it is that he does on our ship. We already know, but I want to just go through that again. He enriches our protectorate, sees suppliers and deliveries are on time. Yeah. Okay. How did you come to serve on the von Valancius, or how did you come to serve the von Valancius dynasty? I come from Dargonus, your lordship. I've been subject to your dynasty since birth and have always strived to be of use to the great rogue trader. Alas, it was not my fate to be the primary heir of my own family due to my being the 15th in line for the title, so I decided to not stand in the way of those behind me in case they attempted to shorten the waiting list at my expense. Janeth lets out an almost kindly chuckle. While my brothers and sisters schemed against one another, I studied the exact sciences and mastered bookkeeping, the greatest art of the adaptus administratum. I must admit that the accumulation of wealth, something one can control, is far more exciting than hunting, carousing, or the other traditional amusements of my noble peers. What was it like working with Theodora? Now that's a tricky question, your lordship. Do you ask it of everyone, knowing they risk losing their head should they slip a careless remark about your predecessor? I shall put it thus. Working with Lady Theodora was never boring and always profitable. The Imperium has billions of subjects, but very few do they love and what they are best. But very few do what they love and what they are best suited to. I would say Lady Theodora was one of the fortunate ones. She was a model rogue trader, and she surrounded herself with those who excelled and loved their work. Hers was a rare talent indeed. Okay. I wish to know what you think of your fellow crew members. Keeping tabs on your subordinates, a wise move. Tell me who interests you and I'll endeavour to be as honest as possible. Janice's eyes light up. He is obviously eager to speak his mind. He likes to gossip. Tell me what you think of Seneschal Abelard Viserion. Lady Theodora managed to do what even the Imperial Navy could not. Teach Master Viserion to carry out orders that he fundamentally disagrees with. I do not know what method she used, but the result is impressive. Having said that, there is something else you need to know. Lord Captain, your Seneschal is capable of being something far greater than a mere conduit for your will. He is possessed by the cunning and experience to run the Protectorate passively whenever Lady Theodora was away, and that really is saying something. Keep an eye on that old officer, I say. Or, alternatively, turn him into a faithful ally. Okay. Interesting. So, there's a fair level of respect in there for Abelard. But, there's also a little wariness. It's like, respect him, but, you know, don't cross him. because he's smart enough to get what he wants. Interesting. And to run this place without us, most importantly. I'd like to hear your opinion on Kunrad Voigtver, the former Master of Whispers. I hope to never see him set foot aboard this vessel again, not even as a servitor, although he would at least be able to do some good that way. Someone has to clean the latrines after all. The factotum's bloated face grows stern. He gave us all quite a fright on that ill-fated day, Lord Captain, and still, to speak candidly, I never enjoyed Master Voigtver's company. I believed him to be a man who knew how to do his job. Regretfully, I was mistaken. It turns out Kunrad lacked the most important quality for a Master of Whispers, unwavering loyalty to the rogue trader, and his failing came to light in the most deplorable manner. To be fair, I don't think that's entirely Kunrad's fault that he lacked unwavering loyalty. I think that's probably the fault of Theodora for putting him in charge as the Master of Whispers, right, when he didn't have it. It's a failure to read him. Anyway, what do you have to say about Vox Master Vigdis Toloman? Ah yes, the Voidborn. You know, in my family we used such creatures as quarry when we went hunting. Mutants are the bane of humanity, an unseen tumour that threatens to end us all. But I digress. In the brief time Toloman has spent in post as Vox Master, I have not noticed any significant flaws in her character or anything that would make me question her professional qualities. Needless to say, she is very diligent, as is any Voidborn seeking to earn a master's affection. I believe you can trust in her skills and loyalty. Alright, something else. Okay. I want to know more about the people who buy our plunder. Oh my lord, that's a lot of people. Of course, Lord Captain, who interests you exactly? We most often deal with the followers of Saint Drusus, the Explorators, the Casa Bellica Mission, or Emperor forgive us, the Fellowship of the Void. Why are we giving away our spoils to these people in the first place? To profit from them, of course. Most of the things you will find during expeditions are complete junk to one such as yourself, but the less fortunate and affluent servants of the Emperor think them treasures, especially when they are bestowed by the great rogue trader himself. Drusian fanatics and pirate cutthroats, Casabelica dealers and explorators, none will refuse our help in these dark and trying times, and there may come a time where we shall be the ones requiring aid, and it would be beneficial to have allies willing to provide it. Okay. What do the followers of St. Drusus require from us? The Drusians still hope to bring the Koronus Expanse into the warm embrace of the faith, just as their flock hopes to receive the aid of the Drusian missionaries. Each crate of food, shipments of cloves, or box of medicine marked with your seal is a sign the rogue trader himself believes in the sect's future success. Reverend Hieronymus is the first among the Drusians and is most often seen in Footfall's grand atrium. A gloomy fellow, but some almost believe him to be a saint. Tell me about the Explorators. Members of the Explorator Cognizant fleet, which has been roaming the Koronus Expanse for a good while now. Omnissiah knows what they're hoping to find, but their acolytes regularly show up on inhabited worlds, seeking bits of sacred knowledge, tracking down mechanical relics, and sniffing out xeno-artifacts, if truth be told. Supposedly they want to save the ignorant rabble from corruption. A tech priest named Opticon22 does business with us on the fleet's behalf. He can be found on the docks on Footfall. Okay, I'm interested in the Casabelica mission. Masters of the cold trade, immoral criminals, and notorious crooks to the last man. The mission is but one branch of this mafia gang that has taken root in the Calixis sector. You can do business with them as long as you take the necessary precautions. They are led by Vladimir Toraka, who recently appointed himself the Liege of Footfall. Of course, he is a trusted ally of the rogue trader Winterscale, but he will not refuse you, another of the Emperor's anointed. If you wish to talk to Vladimir, look for him in the Liege's palace on Footfall. What is this Fellowship of the Void? Janice emits a laugh-like gurgle. A pompous name, is it not? In truth, they are a gang of pirates who are forever squabbling over loot and territory. Some of their little flotillas need supplies, or can take awkward cargo off our hands without asking questions. Of course, there is always the risk that these scoundrels will change their mind and attempt to board us instead. But so far our macro cannons have managed to keep them in line. They say Riza Calvaria speaks on the Fellowship's behalf. The Adaptist Amasekos on Footfall is rumoured to be her favourite haunt. Okay. Interesting. He mentioned Footfall on all of them. So obviously that's going to be like a big hub that we reach, and that was, I think, where the alpha took place. But interesting. Okay. We'll come back to that then. So this, okay. So 8 and 9. 8 is, I want temporary characters to fill our party. I don't like doing these. I like using the ones the game gives us. My retinue and I are in need of training is I want to respec. I recognize these. I want to do this, but also I would like to order the shipping and transportation of some goods. Okay, so we need a merchant to sell things to, or we can't do that. Ah, and if we have a merchant, then we can go in here and be like, I want to sell to you. Well, I understand. I understand. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, cool. Leave that screen. Hello. I would like to replace the painting of the late Theodora in my chambers. Hang my portrait instead. Janice bows obsequiously. It will be done, your lordship. Okay. Obviously we want to put ours up because, like, you know, we're the rogue trader. Like, she's not the rogue trader, she's dead. And you would be like, do you not have like a personal connection to her? No. We spoke to her for maybe 30 seconds. You know, this is much better for us. This is much, much better. Yeah. Okay, cool. Just gonna check something from my own personal curiosity. Cool, right. Now we are leaving here, and we're heading to the voidship bridge once more. We need to speak to Pascal while we're here. Let's go and have a little chat to him and see what he's saying. Right. Hello.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Pascal, shrouded in his crimson robe, greets you with a soft voice synthesized by the Vox system. The mechadendrites growing out of the tech priest's back swivel in your direction as if examining you with curiosity. I have some questions about your visit to Rykad Minoris.
The request is approved. I am ready to provide the necessary information.
What brought you to Rykad Minoris?
I came heeding the call of my mentor, the blessed Archmagus Amonas. We were supposed to meet on Rykad Minoris and discuss my mission.
Okay. The people who wanted to kill you at the port weren't renegades, it was just a cover.
Thank you. Information acknowledged. I will analyze it and take additional security measures.
Okay, what do you think of this Abel Hanuman?
I propose that it was the blessed Amonat who assumed this name. This name is assigned to me. His presence in the hands of heretics is categorically unacceptable. The canon of technological security commands that every effort be made to rescue a high-ranking bearer of knowledge.
Okay, also obviously this is Abel. I said Abel, and then I went, that's weird. Anyway, that will be all for now.
Acknowledged.
Tell me about your past.
The request is approved. I have no outright restrictions on disclosing this information.
Where are you from?
Information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Koronus Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant.
How did you end up in the Koronus Expanse?
I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Koronus Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
Why are you not with the fleet then?
Outmagus Amanat, my blessed mentor, commanded me to crew the orbital station Alter Templum Calixis EXT-17. This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Koronus Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus.
Who are the explorators?
The sacred fraternity of explorers. The cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy.
Interesting. Tell me about your mechadendrites.
They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension.
We can stop there.
Acknowledged.
Tell me more about the Adaptus Mechanicus.
I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened.
Why did you mention Mars?
That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra, and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute of machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength.
What do you mean you guard it? It's not buried treasure. It's not a secret.
It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of the Xenos. This bane is called Xenotech.
Interesting. Now, I do know that there are some things in the 40k universe that just kinda you have to go with. Like, for instance, the one that I'm going to bring up is orcs, and I believe how their machinery works is basically they kind of believe it's going to work, and then it does, and the more orcs who believe it's going to work, the better it works. And I was just thinking here, this doesn't sound too different, right? They've got a cult around the machinery, they have a belief that the machinery works and that there is a machine spirit controlling it, and therefore there is and it works. So you could argue that it's the same thing, but I'm fairly certain that that would be heresy, so I'm not going to do that. But I'm just thinking in my head, maybe I'm missing a step, but it doesn't sound too different. Anyway, banning things you cannot understand is the opposite of seeking knowledge. Technology is merely a tool that can be employed without a risk by a wise wielder. The Adeptus Mechanicus do not wish to share their secrets because they're afraid someone might surpass them. Sacred objects should only be touched with worthy hands. Let's say the second one. Technology is merely a tool that can be employed without risk by a wise wielder.
That is a bold hypothesis. And yet the Omnissiah teaches us that a dauntless mind can penetrate any knowledge through analysis. Where the ignorant see heresy, the enlightened might see truth.
Aha. Do you hold a high position in your fraternity?
This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral.
Oh, I noticed earlier. Yeah, I think I realized I made a mistake earlier, and I made it like an offhand comment. And I was like, well, why are they letting this guy, you know, do what he likes and not be questioned, trying to recruit Pascal? The reason is I think he's a Magos, and the other one was a Logis, so that must be higher, I think? Okay, I think I'm understanding. What's the Omnissiah in your understanding?
He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worship the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace.
What is behind the Adeptus Mechanicus' enthusiasm for replacing flesh with augmentations?
Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to biheric language. Meat begets weakness. It softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge, and by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant, which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes.
An interesting superstition.
Not a superstition, a gracious truth.
You have a strange way of speaking. Is that because of the augmentation, or does your faith dictate how you should express yourself?
Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I am used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation.
I have no more questions.
Acknowledged.
I must take my leave.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
Okay. So we've caught up with him. Spoken to everybody I think that we need to speak to here. So next time what I think we need to do is we need to take a shot. Actually, we can stand anywhere, I guess, here. Let's just stand on this side. I don't know why I'm trying to worry about that. Right. Next time, what I think we need to do is we need to go and give the warehouse another shot. Now that we're, you know, powered up and back to full strength. Then we want to, well, then we either go somewhere else or we carry on with this planet. Like one or the other. But yeah, cool. Happy that we made it back. Got a lot of new lore. Got a cool event. Yeah, it's going well. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.